Guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I made over this couch right here and a small bench. They didn't come together, but I decided to make them as a set. So let's get straight into this video. So this couch was actually not originally mine. It was actually my brother's, but he was gonna throw it away, so I just decided to take it for myself. It actually had a couple of big stains on them, and I didn't like the color, so that's what kind of helped me decide to make it over. I ended up getting this $4 laundry stain remover and this sponge. I sprayed a small amount because I didn't want it to leave like a stain, even though I wasn't going to use that actual like cover, but it just helped me know that it wasn't going to be dirty. So later on, you guys will be able to tell that I didn't even spray a lot of that stain remover, but it still left like big stains. And I didn't want to show you guys this part because it was a little goofy and I thought it was just a waste of time. But I ended up taking a steamer and I steamed like all the parts that I had gone over with the spray, but it really didn't do anything, so I just ended up stopping. I actually watched a couple of videos and it said that taking a dry like wet rag or wet towel or something like that and going over the wet surface would actually remove the like most of the water, and it actually did, and it removed a little bit of the stain too, because I know this is a little TMI, but the towel I mean was actually a little bit brown, but yeah. And to my surprise, it was dry within 2 hours and it really didn't leave any stain. I think the rag really helped out. The next thing I did was I took this brown craft paper from the dollar store, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to explain myself, but what I did was I cut out some big pieces depending on the parts of the couch. So you guys can see me here. What I'm doing is I'm just cutting off the excess depending on the size of the parts. I don't know if I'm going to be able to explain myself again, but hopefully you guys will be able to see it here. And it was a little hard. This was a little time consuming, but this really helped me. So if you guys are gonna do it, I really recommend you guys try this out. Once I had all my pieces cut out on the paper, it was time to cut it on my fabric. This is the fabric that I got. It's just this really thick silk kind of looking fabric. It was $20 and I got it at Joann's. It appears a little brighter here than it actually is in person. So once I had all the pieces, I pinned them down to my fabric and I cut out all the pieces. I don't know if you guys are going to be trying this out, but if you do, make sure you cut out all the pieces how they look like on the couch, or what they look like on the couch. Because for the two side parts, like the two handle parts, I actually ended up cutting two of the same pieces because I forgot to flip the paper over and cut that part out. And so I couldn't get the opposite of what I needed. I don't know if you guys understood that, but I ended up wasting a big piece of fabric, so hopefully I can recuperate that with another project. Once I was done cutting all the pieces on the fabric out, I needed to start sewing. But before I wanted to start sewing, I wanted to start pinning some pieces together. I think the whole couch ended up having like 9 pieces in total. So what I ended up doing is I would pin 2 pieces to each other. So I ended up having 4 pieces, 4 bigger pieces when I was done pinning and when I was done sewing. Like I said before, I needed. Don't mind Molly in the background. She's like crying to come in the room that I'm in right now, but you guys will get small glimpses of Molly in this video. So, but once I was done doing that, I started sewing, and I know the pieces look a little raggedy because, like I said, I ended up cutting the pieces out, like, I guess not exactly. I didn't want to make it perfect or anything because I knew the machine was gonna fix the rough edges or bring it together nice and even. So that's why you see a huge part missing right here, but it ended up fixing out later on, so it worked out. For this next part, I decided to start pinning it on the couch. I wanted to make sure that it would fit nice and snug and that it wouldn't be too tight either. You guys won't be able to see this, but I actually ended up cutting a piece too small, but I was able to fix it. But this is why it helped me that I pinned it on the actual couch. Right here, you guys see me only pinning the bottom part because I wanted to work in two parts or two small parts. And also I did the other part off camera because that's where I was missing a piece of fabric. But I ended up cutting those out, fixing it, and it all came together. And then I began to sew all the parts together. This was actually really easy because I already had the pins in place, so it just helped me guide it a little bit more. Just recently got a new machine on Black Friday. It's called a serger. It's this machine right here, and I decided to use it for this couch because even if it was on the inside, I wanted to make sure it had a clean finish, and also it would ensure that it would last a little longer because if I throw it in the washer, it won't fray, especially because it's a delicate fabric. So that's why I went throughout all the rough edges on the inside of my cover and I cleaned it up with my serger. I also ended up going around the whole entire bottom edge because I ended up cutting almost all the pieces too small, and because this is silk fabric, it doesn't really stretch, so I just went along the whole entire bottom and gave that a nice clean look so that way I wouldn't have to fold any more fabric of the fabric that I didn't have. We're almost getting to the end of this couch, but the last step I needed to do was add an elastic to the actual cushion and the bottom of the couch to make sure that it would just fit nicer and it wouldn't lift when I sat on it. So I had this 1-inch elastic and I cut it in half because I wanted to make sure it would fit over the top of the couch because the top of the couch is bigger than the bottom of the couch. Once my elastic was ready, I sewed it onto my fabric using a zigzag stitch to make sure that it would stretch enough, but I also didn't pull the elastic too much because I wanted to make sure it would actually fit over the top of the couch. So by now I was already done with my couch and it was time to move on to my bench. This is the fabric that I use. I got 4 yards for $8 at Walmart, and it's just this black and white stretch fabric. And what I did with this was I measured out all my pieces for my cushion and I wrote those down, which you guys are seeing here. And I measured those onto my fabric and I cut all of those pieces out. I haven't even mentioned that this set was actually inspired from Pinterest, so I'll make sure to link down below the pictures that inspired this project. I was going for more like a boho / modern couch, so that's why I chose the black and white bench and the green fabric for my couch. But now it was time to get sewing. All I did for this was I used a straight stitch, and I started off with sewing on the 4 side pieces, and then you guys will see this later. I folded the corners together and I sewed those together as well. The cover for this bench was easier to sew than the cover for the couch because I just needed to go straight down with my sewing machine. And I didn't use the serger for this cover because the fabric was a little bit more heavy duty. Because this fabric was a little bit more stretchier, I didn't cut the pieces a little bigger. I wanted to make sure that it would fit nice and stretched over my little bench. But what I'm doing here is adding the same 1-inch elastic, but this time I didn't cut it in half, and I'm showing you guys here the stitch that I'm using. It's the zigzag stitch with a width of 3. And this time I did stretch the elastic as much as I possibly could because, like I said, the couch is kind of getting a little bit softer, so I feel like the fabric stretching over the cushion would make it more comfortable. Once I finish adding all the elastic, it's time to show you guys the before and after. This is what the couch looked like before. They were somewhat similar in color, but I just wanted to make it more my theme. So this is the couch before, but after I cleaned it, and also the little bench. And now it's time to show you guys the big reveal. This project was so much fun, and this is how it came out. I feel like it came out really good. I love the colors, and I know it will last me a couple of years. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to give this video a like. Comment down below if you guys like this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Also, I just wanted to say that I'm sorry that I haven't been posting recently, but I will be back and I'll have more content for you guys. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.